Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Mac, back at it with some more boxing. And today, man, we gotta have another one. Discussion about your boy, Terrence, Crawford, but I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna call Terrence the narrative Crawford. He wanna be adjacent to Errol Spence so bad, right? Right, so let's put him adjacent to Errol Spence then. Errol Spence called himself the truth. We gonna call Bud the narrative, cause every time you hear him talking, he got a new narrative for you. He'll tell you something different every time. As a matter of fact, it done got so bad with Bud that when he talk, and when he go in an interview and he go talking to these people, he don't even give them a narrative. They give him a narrative, cause that's another thing too. He got trouble speaking. So they don't even get a narrative. They give him a narrative sometimes. They might be like, Max Kellerman might be like, so what you're trying to say, Terrence, is that this happened and that happened? And he'd be like, absolutely. Like, I think dude be out of it a little bit. Even when he in the interview, the shit he say sounds so rehearsed, or like he trying to push this narrative so hard. I think he be forgetting to say, swap his name out from whoever told him the narrative. Cause he'll get up there and say, nobody wants to fight Terrence Crawford. When you think about Terrence Crawford, he's the best fighter in the... Like, nigga, you are Terrence Crawford. But I don't even know if he know that though. But anyway, so let's get into it. Why do I call Terrence the narrative Crawford? Cause he always got a new narrative, man. So, and then everything he say, he also say the opposite of it. It's even like his whole career was kind of a narrative. You know, he got me getting tongue-tied over here. It's like his whole career was a narrative put together by Top Rank. He had one of the weakest top 40 runs. He had one of the weakest undisputed runs at 140. I said top 40 runs like this nigga making doo-wop hits or something. He had one of the weakest runs for undisputed at 140. Now, Bob Arum got a lot of pull in those lower weight classes down there with like Nonito Donaire and Inoue and all them. So Terrence Crawford coming up from the little guy weight classes or whatever, you know, it's easy for him to say, okay, I could make this guy a star. Top Rank, like I said, they known for their matchmaking. That's what they always been known for. And basically, if you don't know what Top Rank matchmaking is, basically what Top Rank does is they pick a star and they basically build showcase fights around that star. Lomachenko, showcase fights were built around him. Even if you can tell when they do this with Top Rank, because even if that fighter loses, they still stick with that fighter. They promote them just the same. They might even use their channels of promotion to switch the narrative about the loss that fighter took. Like if you look on some of the ESPN lists, after Lomachenko lost twice, they still had him as undefeated, you know? It's crazy. But that's how the game worked though, you know? They go out there and they build these narratives. Top Rank, that's what they're known for. They take a fighter, they build them up, they put guys in there with them that are, you know, decent enough. And, you know, they just have them basically, do their thing. And they even made the marriage of it when they started to mess with ESPN, for the simple fact that I noticed when the boxing commentary changed, and I wonder if anybody else noticed that. It's like they stopped calling the fights on ESPN. Once they started to do the fights with promotions, working with the networks, basically, because I can even say, honestly, I noticed a couple times with PBC too. You know, I guess they figure we gotta fall in the fold too, like we are trying to promote these fighters. So it been a couple times I've seen it happen with PBC, but more often than not, I see them calling the actual action, what's going on in the fight. This what Top Rank will do with a fighter. They will have Loma up there, and they will call every punch he land, and they will act like it's the greatest punch in the world. Oh, Loma lands a jab. Oh my God, he's the Matrix. And then when Loma is getting jabbed up, they'll go into a whole nother thing away from the fight. They'll get to talking about, Lomachenko's favorite food is oatmeal. Yeah, Bobby eats a lot of oatmeal. Yeah, he really eats oatmeal before he comes out. Can you believe that? Like, they'll go into some bullshit, right? So that way, to the unsuspecting casual, they are focusing on this one great fighter that's doing all this stuff. It's a way of, building this fighter up and kind of telling the fan what to look at who doesn't really know what they looking at, right? But, Bud, he been built up like that too. So he basically avoided a lot of the smoke at 140. He got to 147. The minute he got those belts at 140, you see he didn't defend them. Cause you know what he know? He knows something. And that's why he always pressing EJ. Why doesn't he fight his mandatories? Cause he know that when you got a lot of belts, that means you got more mandatories. But as soon as he got undisputed at 140, what did he do? He dropped those motherfucking belts like hot potatoes and hit it from 140. Went up to 147, grabbed the belt, the weakest belt he could from Jeff Horn, and tucked himself away. Tucked himself away real snug and real quiet at 140, away from PBC. And he always, when he talk about the people at PBC, he always say like those guys over there. Like, he always seen himself as being an outsider. And I think that's one of the problems people had with Bud, the narrative Crawford. People stood by Bud when he was at Top Rank because they thought that when he got the opportunity and he was out his contract, he would go over to PBC because he was anxious to prove himself. You know what I'm saying? But the lie detector test said, the lie detector test that said determined and also said stop the motherfucking cap, bruh. But cause you ain't want to go over there. You had the opportunity to go to PBC and you didn't take it. You was even willing to go to Daniel Kinahan before you went over to Al Heyman. And it's just some people that's like that, y'all. Shout out to my boy Pull Counter, man, over there, Pull Counter Boxing. Check the channel out. He talked about a lot of these fighters, man, that got those sellout vibes that always want to position themselves like away from their people. And that's kind of how it is with the narrative, with Bud, the narrative Crawford. You know what I'm saying? He would work with anybody before he worked with PBC and Al Heyman, just because he liked being the special chosen boy. He liked it over there when he could do it at Top Rank, because it's like, okay, they could build me up. I'm the one fighter over here with talent where they could put me, opposite a bunch of these guys and I could look real good. It's way stiffer talent over there at PBC. So some of the stuff that he say that's contradictory, he say he couldn't get fights over there at Top Rank. But then he also say that he fought the best when it's compared to Spence. He say, look at my resume, look at his, I fought the best. You catch Bud on another day, he'll say, oh man, none of those guys wanted to fight Terrence Crawford. No one wanted to fight Terrence Crawford. That's why Terrence Crawford doesn't have names on his resume. Nah, Terrence Crawford took every opportunity he could to not get those names on his resume. Right or wrong. Then he turned around and with this particular fight, he say, Terrence Crawford accepted everything. I don't know what's going on. Even though I knew it was a bad contract, Terrence Crawford said it's a good contract. But then he turned around and he talked about how he went and he got the David Avanesian fight, and he said he did it because what do you guys expect me to do? Just accept anything? So another contradiction, right? And then he turned around and he say two things, which I pointed out before to y'all. On one hand, he say, he don't need Errol Spence for legacy. But I ask y'all this. If he don't need Errol Spence for legacy, what fight did he need at 147 for legacy? Not Kell Brook. Not Amir Khan. Not Mean Machine. Not Jeff Horn. So he admitted, without admitting it, that he didn't go for no legacy fights at 147. You know what I'm saying? And I know he don't want people to think that David Avenesian is a legacy fight, because he definitely not. He trying to make people think it's a tough fight, but it's not. And then the last biggest cap is him saying he don't need undisputed because he already got it. But then he turned around and say he want to fight Jermell Charlo for undisputed. Not only is he gonna fight for undisputed, but he gonna move up in his first fight and fight for undisputed, the top guy for all the belts, and all the circumstances are the same with the guy who he was just about to fight at a more natural weight, 147, for undisputed, right? But he want us to believe he really finna move up and fight Jermell Charlo. But you know, that's why I call him Terrence, the narrative Crawford, man. All the same circumstances are surrounding the Charlo fight as the Spence fight, so don't believe the hype on that one. And he doing the Ryan Garcia. He using call-outs basically as promotion, because the thing about getting that upfront payday is he don't got no incentive to you know, promote his own fights, because he get paid regardless. He even said that himself, you know. So the way they trying to hedge their bets is by just interviewing them a lot to get them to at least say something, let people see you. But you know, it is what it is. That's all I got for y'all today, man. And remember this, man. You can play games, but you can't play boxing. I'm out.
Right hand on top.